Please stand for pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for being here and those watching on TV. We have a busy slate tonight, so we'll move into public hearings. Turn it over to, okay?
All right. So the first hearing this evening is called to order at 7 o'clock p.m. this 22nd day of April 2024 at Hermann City Hall. And this hearing is being conducted to address a request to rezone property owned by VHS Investments LLC, consisting of lots 77, 79, 81, 83, 85 West 10th Street in the original town of Hermann, addressed as 910 Jefferson Street. It is currently zoned R1 and the application is to go to R3, multiple family residential. The Planning and Zoning Commission considered the application and passed a motion to recommend that the Board of Aldermen approve this rezoning request. This hearing is on the record and a transcript is being prepared. Our court reporter is zooming in, so she's present remotely. The property owners, applicants, and others among the public are invited to speak at this hearing. And the following following exhibits have been presented by city staff. Exhibit 1, the application to change zoning. Exhibit 2, a list of the people within 185 feet, who have property within 185 feet, to whom actual notice was sent. Exhibit 3, a copy of an aerial map showing various lots in the area and this property highlighted. Exhibit 4, a copy of the relevant portion of our zoning map. Exhibit 5, a copy of the minutes from the Planning and Zoning Commission. Exhibit 6, the affidavit of publication proving that notice was put in the newspaper. Exhibit 7, a copy of the notice put in the newspaper. And Exhibit 8, the entire code of ordinances of the city of Hermann, Missouri. Mayor Cox, do you agree to accept these exhibits into the record?
Yes, sir.
So if our applicant is here, he or she may proceed.
Hey, I'm Hunter Shank. I'm buying.
Hunter, come up to the stand, please.
Sorry.
You're on camera too.
Oh, beautiful. Hey, I flew in today. We live in Florida, but we're looking to buy a house here, but we are buying that property, 910 Jefferson Street, and turning it into apartments. Well, that's our hope. We're hoping, we've seen a need for apartments in the area. We know some 2-bedroom and 1-bedrooms are looking to get built as well, and we're trying to incorporate 3 bedrooms so we have more housing for families. And we're excited. We're still working on all the plans. We have some preliminary plans, but we're looking to update those to allow for larger families, trying to stay affordable and just be a great place for people to live and offer more housing in the area.
Anybody have any questions up here first?
How many units did you estimate?
Well, our original estimate was just an architect that had drawn up. I think he drew up like 44, but we're going to highly reduce it and make it larger units. I'm thinking we'll be somewhere closer in between 20 and 30.
Any other questions up here?
Notice on the application you said you would provide off-the-street parking.
That's, yeah, if you look, I don't know if the preliminary plans got shown, but they're basically, we're looking for some parking along the building, like kind of up against it, obviously with setbacks, and then we're purchasing the lot behind it and hoping to put some parking there as well.
That upper lot?
Yes.
It's kind of behind it.
Now that upper lot is not included in any drawing that we have. I think Sam Lost may own that.
It should be.
That's, I believe, lot number 87, and it's not listed in there.
I'm still working on purchasing. I'm purchasing the building next door as well from Samuel Lost, and that purchase hasn't taken place yet. So I haven't applied for the zoning of that. That building doesn't allow really for apartments, but hoping for more parking with that.
So parking along West 10th Street, going up the hill.
Yes.
Could probably put a few in front too, maybe.
Yes,
on the
yeah,
Jefferson.
the drawings had where we had some in front, I think 7 in front, parked kind of at an angle, and then I think it was another 15 on the side, and then 8 on the upper lot. But those are all, yeah.
Okay.
The units you're looking to do for long-term rentals, are they gonna, how many bedrooms are they gonna range from and?
So we'll have 1 to 3 bedrooms.
Okay,
So we'll have a little bit, our original drawings, the architect that I had come out there, and I'm trying to get lots of recommendations. They originally had mostly 2s and 1s because that's what kind of fits the building to get the maximum amount of apartments in there, or efficiency out of it. But I've been kind of looking what the need is in Hermann, and I've seen a lot of people saying that they need 3-bedroom apartments here, so I'm trying to incorporate that.
okay.
Anybody else? Do I have any questions from the audience?
I'd like to know, you're using the building, the yellow building, and that's what you're building on?
Yeah.
Are you
We'll be
building it
restoring.
higher?
No,
It'll stay at the same height?
same height.
Okay.
Your name for
And
the
what are
record?
they gonna do with the flooring in that thing, with all the chemicals that are in that? Before, there used to be back in that corner.
Sir, ma'am, your name for the record,
So I
ma'am?
was in that building.
Gloria Green.
Your name for the record, ma'am?
Gloria Green.
Gloria Green, and your name, sir? Tom, okay. Thank you.
To answer your question, I'm still doing all the environmental reports and everything, all the studies on it. So I don't have a great answer for you, but obviously everything will have to be looked after correctly.
Another thing, if you're putting that parking along the side of the building, what's that gonna do to traffic going up down 10th Street?
I mean, I'll have a great answer. It's not going to be a ton of parking. It's not going to be a constant source of people coming and leaving. Hopefully be, mostly working class, a place for working class families to be able to go to work in the morning or go, not a hotel where people are coming and going all the time. But I don't have a.
That's not gonna be a section 8 apartment building?
No.
Because I'm kinda worried about.
No, everybody will be
What's going into-
screened and try and bring the best tenants in.
Well, that's what everybody says, but it doesn't end up there.
Well, from my experience in owning rentals, it works out the best to have good tenants, because if I'm going to put a bunch of money into a building, I'd obviously like it to be taken care of.
I hope it ends up there. It doesn't most times.
Sure, no, I understand that.
Anybody else?
Quick question.
Time frame wise, what are you looking at here? A few years? Are you guys itching to get started right away, or is it when you can find?
As soon as we get everything going, I mean, we're still working on all the plans, what's the most efficient use. Obviously, we have to do everything legally with planning and permits and everything. But as soon as we can get going on it, we'll get going. I don't like to push things off. I like to move as quickly and efficiently as possible.
It sounds like you're going to oversee this directly. You kind of know the ins and outs of working on this stuff personally. Is that fair to say? Or
Yeah, I'm
construction-wise?
in construction and development.
Okay, so is it somewhat dependent on finding you a place to live here? So you
No.
can. Oh, okay.
No, it'll start whether or not
Okay.
we foresee projects.
Another question. Since all the construction going on for this building, is that going to require construction workers from Hermann, or from out of state, or out of town?
Our goal is to keep everybody local. I don't know if someone's gonna, like the general contractors I'm working with all day. Now, I don't know if they may bring in a couple workers that specialize in this from a different town in Missouri. I can't speak to that exactly, but I'm looking to hire from around here. I like locals because they're here on site, making sure things get going.
I'm just concerned about keeping some of the jobs here in Hermann.
Sure. Sure.
Anyone else?
I have one other question.
Sure.
You own the building already?
Yeah, I just purchased it.
Okay. There is 3 pieces of metal that was, what is it? Like guttering, that's flapping in the wind.
Okay.
And it just needs, I called
Ripped off?
Raylene before about it. I know she's part of your group or what. Okay, but yeah, I called her about that before, and they had to come and take a couple of them off, and they left several there. And my only concern is for them to come loose and fly onto a car or one of my grandkids playing in my yard.
Sure.
Because
Okay.
I'm right across the street.
Thanks for sharing that whole.
And they're noisy.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just there and I felt like people were playing upstairs.
Yeah.
You talking about your grandkids? No, although you know they're
Okay.
I just want to say thanks for doing this too.
Yes.
So this is going to be awesome for Herman, and
Yeah.
we appreciate you coming in here and doing
Herman
this.
needs
So.
some apartment, Herman needs some housing, period.
I'm looking forward to it. This is the kind of projects I love, is bringing the old building back to life. I'm not a new builder, I like to bring it back to life, so.
Okay, thank you everyone for your questions. To you, the planning and zoning recommended we approve. Do you someone want to make a motion to approve the zoning change?
I'll make a motion to approve the zoning change.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Good to go, sir. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Okay, so that'll conclude the record on that hearing. And the next hearing is called to order at 7:10 p.m. on this 22nd day of April 2024 at Hermann City Hall. And it is conducted to consider a request to rezone the property owned by Thomas Fisher, consisting of the north part of Lot 38 West 6th, original town of Hermann, address 600 Washington Street, which is currently zoned R2 two-family residential, and the request is to go to R3 multifamily residential. This hearing is on the record and a transcript is being prepared, and the property owners and others among the public are invited to speak. And the following exhibits are offered by city staff. Exhibit 1 is the application. Exhibit 2 is a list of the people owning property within 185 feet to whom actual notice was sent. Exhibit 3 is an aerial photo showing this lot and neighboring lots. Exhibit 4 is a copy of the relevant part of the zoning map. Exhibit 5 is a copy of the minutes from the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on 11 January 2024. Exhibit 6 is the affidavit of publication from the newspaper. And Exhibit 7 is the notice of public hearing that was published in the newspaper. And Exhibit 8 is the entire municipal code of the city of Hermann, Missouri. Mayor Cox, do you agree to accept these exhibits into the record?
Yes, sir.
And if our applicant is here or others, you may proceed.
Yes. I have the apartment, and I have basically 3 apartments that I'm planning to put in. I have already 1 apartment that was there already, a 3-bedroom apartment. That pretty much the whole upstairs. And then my plan is, of course, put 2 more in. Downstairs, another 3-bedroom and a 1-bedroom. So it'll be a total of 3 apartments that I have set up, basically in the building itself. So that is my plan, to get that approved so I can finish basically the work. Right now I'm just kind of waiting on the approval.
Okay. I'll open it up on, you all have questions?
I don't think there's adequate parking for your 3 apartments on that half lot.
Well, it used to be a bar. So I would say I've got Washington and of course I've got 6th Street.
I'm talking
So-
off-street parking, that means not using Washington Street or 6th Street. it'd be actually parking on your property.
Well, no, I do not. I don't have any property to put any parking. I could, I mean, it would take the yard sides of it, on 6th Street side, but that would only be a couple cars. That would be able to fit.
In the zoning requirements, the off-street parking is required.
One parking per bedroom.
What's that?
One parking spot per bedroom. So if you're gonna have a 3-bedroom, 2 3-bedrooms and a single, that's gonna be 7 parking spaces off the
Okay.
street.
Any other questions? No? Open it to the floor. Is there any questions from the audience? No?
Well, I guess I do. Since I'm a part of it.
You're fine.
All right.
State your name for him, please.
Henrietta Fisher. We have upstairs, it's already completed, it's already been a 3-bedroom.
Right.
What we did was remodel that, and that's all done upstairs. What we're doing downstairs is already divided, we're just getting ready for the siding, and the roof just been put on. That is almost completed, other than for electric and all of that. I see no reason, if we're trying to get people into Hermann, we're trying to get families here, and the people who work the hardest to try to get it, we're being kicked. And I don't understand it. Do we want it? Guest houses all around us? I doubt it. They're already in the house we have all around us. I mean, let's get real to have families here in Hermann. This is a must.
Well, I agree. We need families in Hermann, no doubt about that. The issue, I think the biggest issue is gonna be the parking issue. I mean, because this is in, you know, it's an ordinance, this is the way it's written, so,
What's their alternative if it's rejected, if the request is rejected, Dave?
Their first best alternative, I would say, if you're not happy with the decision the board makes tonight, is to go and seek the advice of your own attorney as to what your options are. The code does provide a process for a variance if you think the strict application of a provision in the code harms you in some unique way so that you can't use your property. You can follow that procedure and then try to come back.
Right. But basically where I'm at then, if I can't do this as far as R2, but I can still have my apartments, I just have to drop it down 1 apartment.
it's already R2.
So I'll be kept with my 2 3-bedroom apartments and
Do away with the small other
with the
1 bedroom.
1-bedroom then.
Yeah, I got,
Is that where I'm?
the Dolores is on the planning and
It's-
zoning, that's why I
yeah.
refer to
So-
her here.
Yes,
I'm just saying, I'm
Right.
just kinda,
you would have to drop 1.
But then we'll drop 1.
no, that's fine. I guess I'm gonna have to.
Let's drop
If
1.
I can't,
Why put all the work that we've already put in to these 2 and lose all that?
Well, no, I'll get it figured out. But yeah, no, that we'll put a little bit of a bind, but I will be able to work it. That's the main reason I didn't do all the work, because I had to get this figured out.
Right.
And we certainly applaud your efforts of providing apartments and long-term, living for
Right.
residents of Hermann. We certainly applaud that. It's just with the ordinances as they are
Well,
written.
I understand that too, but again.
It's a busy intersection.
Right.
To have that
Right.
many cars parked on street is
Well,
not an
like I
option.
say, if we do away with the 1 and make that, and we're okay with the other 2,
Well, I should put, then I can expand though, my 3-bedroom to possibly 4 or 5-bedroom, correct?
But you're only gonna do 2 apartments.
Two
Yeah, two
apartments.
apartments. Can he make one a 4-bedroom rather than the 3-bed? The 3-bedroom's already done
Upstairs.
upstairs. That's
So the downstairs is completely,
Yeah, I think we have to defer that to probably the building and ordinance inspectors.
because like I said, the whole downstairs would be a very large apartment, but, you know, if I can break it up, then yes, I mean, but if I need to keep it the 3 and 3,
Is it three?
that's basically where I'm gonna be at, but I'll make some big apartments, or big rooms.
I know you've been working with Mike Fleege already. so
Correct.
He would be the first one I would ask about that for.
But as far as your request, due to the ordinances and that, I don't see how we can approve changing the zoning. You know, we'll have to do it in a motion form, but just want you to understand why we're doing what we're doing.
Right, oh, I understand, I mean, that's why I'm here, and,
So,
like what, you know, like I said, I was sick for the zoning, so I couldn't, you know, be there for them, but,
okay.
if that's what I have to do, then I will just make the 2 apartments and we'll go.
Leave it at that. Just leave the 2 3-bedrooms in.
All right, is there any further questions or discussion? Someone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to deny the rezoning.
Motion has been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
All right, so that'll conclude the record on that request. And then we have our third hearing tonight, called to order at 7:21 PM, this 22nd day of April 2024. And is being conducted to consider a conditional use permit application submitted by Sones Winery LLC for a conditional use permit for liquor sales for outdoor consumption in the C1 zoning district for more than 12 operating days per year. The Planning and Zoning Commission passed a motion to recommend that the board approve this application. At least 15 days notice of time and place was in the newspaper. When this hearing is concluded, the board shall provide its decision within 15 days. According to our code, the board should impose or may impose such conditions to ensure that the use is not detrimental to public health or safety. It will not injure the use and enjoyment of property in the immediate vicinity, that there are adequate access roads and utilities, that normal and orderly development of the neighborhood will not be impeded, that this use will not cause traffic congestion, that the requirements for public services such as police and fire protection will not be unduly burdened, that the use will not result in a substantial increase in ambient noise. There will not be substantial added night lighting, and the general appearance of the neighborhood will not be adversely affected. This is on the record, a transcript is being prepared. The applicants may present their case, and then others in the room are invited to speak. At the conclusion of the hearing, the board may deliberate and then vote, and whether it is approved is carried by a vote of the majority of the board members present this evening. And the following exhibits have been presented by city staff. Exhibit 1 is the conditional use permit application. Exhibit 2 is a hand-drawn exhibit indicating the property and what's being proposed. Exhibit 3 is a list of the property owners within 185 feet of the property. Exhibit 4 is a copy of the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes. Exhibit 5 is a copy of the affidavit of publication from, or the original affidavit of publication from the newspaper. Exhibit 6 is a copy of the public hearing notice that printed in the newspaper. And Exhibit 7 is the entire municipal code of ordinances of the city of Hermann, Missouri. Mayor Cox, do you agree to accept these exhibits into the record?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if our applicant is here, they may proceed.
Yeah, so Steve Ballmer, and so this one is a Saturday, 11, looks like 11 to 6 a.m. 6 p.m. Ooh. The primary purpose is to sell our Sones, do tastings and to sell our Sones winery wines. So 7 of them, and we'll continue to sell them there. We'll also have, for those that do not prefer wines, the Friendship Brewery out of Winsville will have beer, and then we'll have just a few pre-made mixed drinks. Will be live music 12 to 3 there. Let's see, what else? So we're taking, so it's an initial part, it's phase 1 of the Sones Winery Complex redevelopment, which we own, our families own, Hollera families, and the Ballmer families now own all the original Sones Winery complex. So you'll see continued development and have this past week as well. So it's taken old 18, started in the 1840s with stoneware production, then wines facility, and making it into eventually a much broader scope using the Sones campus. So this is a revenue generator for us to continue to work on the press house above. 11 to 6 on Saturdays in season, so May 1st starts on the first Saturday. It's always subject to weather, and it ends October 31st, and everything gets taken down off the lot to make it back to normal. So we have historic vinyl signs going in. So.
Are you gonna have any canopy or anything over? It's
Yeah,
just gonna be
sure.
open air?
No, it would be we would bake people if.
Well, that's.
Yeah, so above the band there would be a canopy, always waiting for the next thunderstorm to destroy it. So we'll be very careful, Jim Polson, with that. So yeah, there'll be canopies. Again, the canopy will be taken down and adjusted. They'll be mobile or temporary.
The other question I had, you said, you're gonna be there till 6, but then on here it's got a slash that evenings and until close. Is closed 6?
Yeah, it is. And then we'll.
I didn't know if that meant that you were gonna do something after that.
No.
Okay.
No,
Just
we're
for clarification,
done.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, we're done at 6 o'clock, and then we'll push people back to force other parts of historic forestry. And Mark.
Do y'all have any questions up here?
I think it's a great temporary solution to a to get some activity going on.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what you guys have done with gravel.
Well,
How comfortable are you with that change in elevation and the rip rock? There.
Sure.
How comfortable with?
We have given the Raylene as an insurance agent, we are well aware of that particular situation. The riprap is not to be on. There will be signs on it, historic signs on it. Yeah, no people on the riprap.
All right.
No.
Steve, I might be reading this wrong, but I think you just said music 12 to 3.
Yeah, see, I bet you I'm wrong.
And is this on here? Is this?
It's
Can you look at
1 to
this for me?
4, yeah.
Is this? I can't know if your notes are.
Yeah.
It says 3 to 6 here. Is that for music?
Yeah, that's for music. I'm sorry. Yeah, 3 to 6 is music. My apologies.
Okay, not noon to 3.
Not noon to 3. 3 to 6. We're not going to be open. No, we will not be open later than 6. I'm sorry. That's horrible. I just forgot about
That's all
it.
right. And that's not conflict or anything with your across the street.
I'm sorry.
Will there be dueling music at all with your establishment across the street?
There will be in September and October, because we'll have 1 to 4, a little bit, 1 to 4 over at Hermann 1837. There'll be country, and then there'll be not hard rock, but classic rock. We'll switch them. There'll be one country. Yeah. So during the heavy periods, congested or more popular periods, yes, there will be.
And I mean, I have no idea, but you probably thought about it. You don't think the sound is going to?
The building, the big 3-story main building, the Begeman building,
Break the noise.
bounces them. Yep. But we do need to watch that. We certainly will.
Anyone else have questions up here? On the board? If not, do we have any questions from the audience? None? All right. In that case, I need a motion.
I'll move to approve the conditional use permit for Stone's Winery.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. We're going to skip the mayor's report right now and go to wastewater bonds. Miss Joey is here from,
They're busy in the back row.
Just working over numbers. Do you want me first? You want our engineer?
Why don't you both come? At least come up to the front row, Travis, if you don't mind.
We're just fixing things. We're almost done. Hello again. Hi, everyone. So I have been, I feel like I'm a preacher at this point on this. The last time I was here, we were talking about putting something on the ballot. And you chose not to because you were awfully nice and you let the school go ahead and do it. The May 28th, I believe, is the deadline for the August ballot. Now, I just found out the projects, or the thought about projects, and to be perfectly honest, I don't care what the projects are. And I'll tell you why. The first project the project that we have in front of us is a sewer project. And it has anywhere from 5 million to 15 million, is that right? Yes, sir. 5 million to 15 million. And without knowing the 15 million on there, I was going to say put 15 million or 20 million on the ballot. And I'm doing it for one reason. We can borrow all day long with something called a lease or a certificate of participation. And the interest rate is going to be somewhere between 4 and 5%, and right now it feels like it's going to 5 before it's going to 4. And again, you don't even have to seek permission from anybody except this body. You don't have to go out to a vote of the people. Now, if we go to the vote of the people, and this is the message, ask them, and we do this with the water and the sewer at this point, we need to ask the permission because it lets us borrow right now at 175, 1.75% interest. And so if you decide on a $5 million project or a $1 million project or piecemeal these projects in over the next 30 years, you are going to have the bonding authority to do it. You're also going to have the ability to do it at the lowest interest cost. And that is the long and the short of my message to you. Put yourself in the way of the lowest interest rates possible. Now, I am not saying we are guaranteed to go through what's called the State Revolving Loan Fund. That's the state program that lets us borrow at a 175. And the 175 is today because I'm closing a deal at the end of the month at a 175. But what's in Travis's numbers is a 0.5% fee that the state charges. Now, they call it a fee, which drives me crazy because they add it to the interest, and it's whatever you borrowed, they add it on top of that. So it's just interest. They call it a fee, but it is interest. But the 175 today includes that. So they are right now at a 125 plus a 50% fee. But don't even ignore me saying it's a fee. It's a 175. I don't care what they call it, but it's a 175. So today, you could, if we came to market today, we could borrow at a 175 in a 4.5% market. And so there are few opportunities like this where you can set yourself up for this. Now, when I say, hey, we may not use the SRF, I've been doing it for, I think, 30 years, and I've never gone to it and not been able to use it. So it's always been available. However, I have gone to it, been in it,
been accepted by it and turned my nose up to it and said I don't want to use it. Couple reasons. One, they used to limit us to 20 years. If you go 25 years, sometimes you can get a lower rate. The difference between a 4, I just did these numbers, a 4% interest rate and a 175 in your annual payments is 23% annually. Now that's a lot of interest over the life of the loan. However, as interest rates come down, that gap shrinks. And you might think, hey, for an extra few dollars, we're going to skip the SRF. They're going to make us do all of these hoops. You'll have the option to skip it. We don't have to. And my job is to show you the most feasible way possible, not what I think is easier. So if interest rates are still at a 175, if it's like today, there's no way I can tell you to go anywhere there, any place else other than the SRF. But there are more, and Travis can speak to this better than I can, there are more costs going through the SRF. And so as your principal costs, the additional costs go up, you have to look at it and go, is it worth it? I went and did a Plattsburgh, Missouri bond issue, and it took us 4 years before we finally said enough's enough. We're not waiting for you anymore. Just think of it, and we did it in 2021. Think of the inflation we missed because of them being slow. Now we actually, because of COVID, we actually got the bonds out 25 years at 2%. So it didn't really cost us anything extra. So there are times, and I just don't want you to think, hey, he's hammering this SRF and it's the only way to go. It's not, but it is. This is the best opportunity you can have to fix projects and fix problems, because your water system and your sewer system are always going to need problems. DNR is always going to come in and say, you need to improve this and that. Even stormwater, we can actually tie that in and call it sewer. And so stormwater, water, and wastewater, those are the big projects. DNR is not going away. They're not going to not tell you there's projects. So put a bunch on the ballot, sit down, and I come to the meetings too. I come to the public meetings and explain, here's why we're doing it. You tell me a cheaper way. If DNR comes in, if we don't vote anything, DNR comes in, they can say, hey, you have to do this in the next year. Well, we can try to vote it then, or we can just issue 4% money. If it gets voted down, we're at 4% money. So that's everything I've got for you. And I think, do they have in their packet the resolution, the ordinances?
Yes.
So there's 2 ordinances. I'm not asking you guys to do anything tonight. The amounts are blank, but these are what you would be asked to consider. And so water, I would say put 15 million on for water, and I did this successfully for Eldon, Missouri in April. It is a very attractive message. It's let us borrow the cheapest way possible. And then you've got 15 million, you've got actually 15 million in sewer projects, and I would say put 20 million on, because the bonds don't expire ever. And so authorized but unissued. You only pay interest on what is out the door, not what's sitting on the shelf.
That's under your miscellaneous tab if you're looking for it. And I don't know, we were really only talking about, wastewater. We hadn't really, I think we kind of ruled out doing water at the same time, but we could always, there's plenty of time to change our mind.
And I can speak specifically about the wastewater and then touch on the water. You would still have me?
Please.
Yeah. For the the wastewater side, excuse me. So let's back up a little bit. The city got a little bit of trouble with the DNR. They had a call on them for shutting off the ballpark lift station during times of high water, and that resulted in a letter of warning to the city. The city applied for a grant to do an engineering study to develop a feasibility analysis to correct that situation. And the alternative that we came up with was to relocate that from its current location in the middle of the ball field, actually towards the south of it, would be towards the net. We'd relocate that ball field, or that lift station, towards Washington Street right away and get out of the floodplain adjacent at grade to Washington Street. And that comes with a $1.7 million price tag. Additionally, there's some additional needs that have been identified with city staff. such as replacing the UV system at the industrial park, wastewater treatment facility, some SCADA system expansion, some improvements to the backup generation transfer switches. And then finally, I don't know if you all have this.
They do. Guys, this is what he's going by.
Finally, I put together kind of reliabilities in terms of how much clay pipe is left in the system. I've taken some, I don't know, guesses at how much there are, and thrown some industry standard prices at replacing those. And so, you know, if we're looking at replacing 100% of the clay lines in town, where we have maybe a pipe lining and manhole lining, that's a $10.8 million investment the city would have to make. If we're looking at doing 60%, that's a $6.5 million approximately investment the city would have to make. If we're looking at doing 20%, that's a $2.2 million investment. Those are kind of arbitrary between the 60 and 20. I'm just trying to get round numbers just to open the discussion up. So
What did you say, the 10 million was what, 100%?
The clay lines. So we've done some preliminary studies and identified through inventory some of your downtown piping materials and sizes. There's a bunch of that's unknown, so I had to make assumptions in terms of how much there's left.
Okay, so you're assuming it's 100%?
Yeah, my intention would be to replace all your clay lines are down and or rehab them. They're past their design life. And so that's how I got to the $15 million, right? I had identified all these other projects via conversation with city staff and DNR mandates, basically, and then had 10.8 based on what I assumed as the rest of clay lines in town. And then I like round numbers, so I said, let's just for discussion purposes, let's look at 10 million and 5 million, and that's how I ended up with the other 6.5 and the 2.2. And then so I guess the important piece here for the discussion is, excuse me, I don't like borrowing money, so I threw $15 million out, right? And so down here I said, let's look at a $10 million bond issuance and $5 million bond issuance, what effect that would have on user rates. I'm at various options. The one be a certificate of participation at 5% borrowing. The one be at RSRF at the, I think I had 2%, that's a conservative number. And the final one, which is the most attractive, is borrowing from SRF and also getting some sort of a grant that are currently available through the SRF program.
But now that number there is for like the grand total if we issued the entirety of the bond.
Correct.
So
yeah.
if you have in your facility plan here some examples of, because we're only going to issue or draw down what we need at a time. So if we're just doing the lift station first, then that amount looks more like $58, not 64 or 74.
Correct, but your voters and ratepayers need to understand how much.
Oh no, I'm totally. I just want to make sure that they understand that we wouldn't go immediately from $54 to 64 or 74.
I guess my main goal in having this table here was to illustrate the impact of having SRF funding. And the only way you guys can get SRF funding is to pass the bonds. As Joey said, the interest rates are just so much more attractive right now through SRF.
Are you concerned at all about the 93% capacity that our present lagoon at the industrial park is at?
You're always concerned about lagoon capacity, right? You always want to try
With the growth that we're projecting to come to Hermann, is that going to be an issue sooner than later?
So historically, you guys' population has been declining for the last.
We know.
Yeah. So what is growth going to be? How much is growth? It's hard to forecast growth. So it'd be lovely if this town would grow. It's hard to forecast that at this point. There's a bunch of unknowns. So in my mind, when I'm writing engineering reports, it's hard for me to forecast growth when I see a steady trend line of the population declining, and subsequently your wastewater usage would be declining.
Okay, it just seemed pretty high.
What kind of timeline are you thinking about with, if we do this in various stages? You know, the lift station probably is the first thing that is the #1 priority. what kind of timeline are you thinking between lift station and perhaps the line upgrades?
That'd be subject to y'all's direction, really. Currently, we're spending about $250,000 a year on lining. That's our goal, based on your guys' previous bonding capacity, correct? Pretty sure that money's being replenished.
Yes.
And so eventually, we're gonna run out of money to do pipelining, and the pipes are getting no better. So I don't know what the level of expenditure is gonna be each year. That's a question for Public Works and city leadership. So.
What's the, how competitive are these SRF grants?
Oh, sorry, I was gonna speak to the grant. The loans are not, the loans, they're handing them out as fast as they can. Now, this might be because there were years that nobody wanted it. It was just faster and easier to skip the SRF. They also change personnel about every 15 minutes, so it's not easy to go through.
To be honest, I prefer not to deal with them because I don't like the red tape. But you know, when you're borrowing at 5 versus 1.75, I mean, I don't know. It's a hard decision.
Yeah, kind of forces you.
But the grants to get to that 50% match
they're out there.
pretty
Lots
reasonable.
of people have been getting them. It comes down to each community and the application that goes in and your medium household income.
Travis, was that the grants that are tied to your 2% median household income?
So the grants I've been looking at is not tied, those are affordability grants. The one that I was specifically looking at would be a water quality incentive grant, which is aimed at addressing I&I and also floodplain issues, which the ballpark lift station would certainly qualify her, I would assume. Let's back up to the treatment plant capacity. We have concerns about there's not money captured in there to expand the treatment plant.
The lagoon that we have down at the industrial park.
Yes, ma'am. I mean,
Yeah, there's nothing in here to even address it.
I think maybe that's why Mr. McClellan suggested 20 million as
Right,
opposed
no,
to.
so you're exactly right. Anytime you're getting close to in the 90s on capacity, you have to think, maybe it's going to be fine forever. But I sure would prefer to plan a little bit in advance. So let's say you've identified 15 million. Let's say we put 20 million on the ballot. But all of a sudden we do get growth and we get a big jump in growth. You'll think, okay, if that extra 5 doesn't do it, you think, okay, we're not going to do some other project. You're going to reach in there because the bond ballot question will not be specific to just this. It'll be very general.
What's the maximum bond limitation the city can go out on?
For a revenue bond, you don't have a maximum. It really comes down to the market. If all of a sudden I said you had your monthly rate was going to be $250 per month per connection, you're not getting it done because nobody will take that long.
So there's no max the city has that they can go out?
No, you're probably thinking of general obligation bonds, which you're limited to 20% of your assessed valuation for GO bonds.
How much what are the outstanding bonds that we have right now on our wastewater system?
Like 4 million.
And that's over how many years to pay off?
We paid off in 41.
When we do this new bond, does that money tag into that? It's just a separate bond. Okay.
Considering the lift station is in a flood zone, is there perhaps matching FEMA grants that perhaps could be? Is there such a thing since it is in a flood zone?
I haven't specifically looked at that, but that adds another layer of red tape, right?
Yeah. In which, if we had bonds, which would be much more easier to get past the red tape.
I'd rather deal with MDNR and SRF than FEMA.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
So on the ballpark lift station, the strawing, looks like a little pyramid. How would you build that up? I guess it'd be level with Washington Street?
Yes, sir. So you can envision Washington Street sitting there above the ball field. There'd be a gated complex there, say 32 by 32. You'd open the gate, you just drive straight off of Washington Street up to the ballpark.
So you have to build it up all the way around it, basically.
Yes, it'd be earth and embankment around the pump station. And the goal would be to pump directly to Gutenberg lift station, such that we would eliminate the basement backup issues we have during high water events currently, which is the primary driver of you guys shutting down the lift station.
You wouldn't have to do like a big expensive retaining wall to get it that tall. You could
No,
just.
I mean there's enough room there to grade out 3 to 1 slopes, and even probably more than that, you want to have it a little more mobile.
So we're going to eliminate the gravity flow from the ballpark, the Lions Field lift station, and it's going to be a force main all the way to Gutenberg Street.
Yes, so visually or conceptually, we would basically take the existing ballpark lift station well, turn that into basically a junction manhole, dig gravity sewer over to Washington Street right away, put a new wet well in there, and then also dig force main all the way back over to Gutenberg, which required some bores.
So everything that's going into the lift station now will actually, you're going to put a force main up to Washington Street, correct? A gravity flow up to Washington Street, and then from there you're going
To pump directly to Gutenberg. So
Okay.
currently right now, we're basically just pumping not that far over to Mozart and Washington, I believe, and it turns the gravity in a 15-inch line. What happens during flooding events, though, is you have backwater conditions. You can't push water via gravity through that line no more. So you start increasing head, which in turn causes basement backups. By taking that off the gravity load, which effectively you're doing now by turning the pump station off, I'm pumping directly to Gutenberg without any service connections tied to that force main.
You will with the force main.
Correct.
But what if and Jesse may know this answer. With the flooding that comes on and the manholes, the gravity manholes that are going to be on 6th Street, they're going to be bubbling up, so wouldn't that still cause problems in their basements?
So the bubbling that you see now, when you go down 5th Street, for example, during flooding, is actually a function of that lift station a lot of the time. That's whenever we've got so much I&I, and that pump station just constantly, it doesn't shut off, it just pumps. And that gravity from there can't keep up, so it actually creates pressure inside those manholes and lifts that lid. If we take all of that basin away and run just a force main from there to Gutenberg, that will eliminate that pressure situation.
So the houses will not be affected on 6th Street at all with flooding come up?
Well, I can't say that they'll never be affected, but they won't be affected near to the scale that they are now. I don't think they'd be affected probably to any level with the flooding that I've seen in my life, but I can't say that's a 100% thing. Anytime the water comes up, obviously once the water gets higher than the sewer, once it's above the manholes, there's no guarantees. But situations where you see where those manholes are just sitting there rattling and there's water coming out of them, the whole idea of this project is to get rid of that because all of those are sewer overflows.
And the real goal is to limit the city's liability in terms of making that decision, that conscious decision to turn that lift station off. That opens you and your staff up to liabilities via the Clean Water Act.
So with the other lift stations, even the one on the Gutenberg Street and the one across from the city shed and where else, they're all in the flood area. So the lift station we have at Lions Field could not be just redone there instead of moving it?
Well,
You can't.
It could. All that's possible. I don't think it's a good solution because you can't get to it, right? Like the other ones,
But you can't get to the ones on Gutenberg Street when it floods.
You can't, you're right, but the one on Gutenberg Street, it takes quite a bit of water to get to it. Lions Field, it doesn't. We see Lions Field underwater constantly.
So if you had that as a force main there by where it's at now, if you have converted that to a force main there, it still wouldn't work? It wouldn't be a good fix?
So
I'm just asking.
Understood. It's a fix. I don't think it's out in the fix. You guys would be spending, I don't know the values of it here. Let's just say $1 million in a force main to get over to Gutenberg. where for another $700,000, you could have that thing smacked up against Washington Street right away and be accessible during high water events, and also get rid of that call an eyesore there in Ballpark.
Well, if we have, we done. And you're comfortable with the bids that they have given you for the, I don't know if I can find it right now, for the boring and everything that they are going to do from Washington Street to Gutenberg Street?
Those aren't bids, those are a cost estimate based upon some.
Okay, and it's, you had, if I can remember correctly, $280,000, I think? Is that, to me, it just didn't sound like enough. I mean, 297. That's the 8-inch force main. And I guess that's also boring it, I'm assuming, which I don't know.
I guess what's the specific question?
Is that all, the cost to do the boring and to lay the line from Washington Street to Gutenberg Street is only going to be $297,000? Or am I missing something here?
I don't know where the $297,000 came from.
It's on in your book that I got a copy of.
So I guess I had, let's back up here. I had alternate number 1 was for ballpark pump station relocation. That was at $1.7 million. Alternate number 2 was for dedicated force main, which was $926,000. And I had alternate number 3. So instead of having a dedicated force main, we would build a gravity sewer, which didn't have service connections up along, basically parallel existing gravity sewer. And that was at $1.064 million.
That 297 is the second line on alternate number 1 that she's talking about.
But you're recommending the alternate number 3 is?
Hang on, let's answer the question that was asked. I'm lost too.
I was looking at your alternate number 1, the second item.
I had $74 a linear foot for lane enforcement at 4 foot in the ground. I mean, so generally when I make these cost estimates, I use previous bidding numbers from our previous projects and add some inflationary values.
I was just asking because it just didn't look.
Think it's high or low?
I thought it was low, but, you know, prices are really wild.
I had a full depth granular backfill as a different line item, so that's another $21. Pavement restoration is another line item, so you start adding those up and they start adding up.
Okay, so it's not just that line item.
Correct.
Okay.
So all these different alternatives are when this is the fit, but right, I think the thing we're talking about, especially with Joey here tonight, is the funding. Can I ask political question? Is there any benefit to one? We have 2 election periods left in the year. One of them being a presidential election with notoriously high voter turnout. Is there any benefit to one election or the other of which ballot we would put this on?
August tends to pass because nobody goes to the August ballot. And so bring your spouse and it'll pass 12 to nothing. I mean, it is, some people call it the stealth ballot. Hermann tends to have good turnout at their elections, so I would absolutely make sure that everybody knows when it is, have a few public meetings, at least one public meeting 2 weeks before it, and just say, you know, we're here to get the least expensive money possible.
Bottom line is educating the people.
That is exactly right.
Okay, is there anything else we need to do?
So let's back up on this just so we're out there. So that force main is actually a $578,000 project, $579 once you start including the full depth granular and the pavement restoration in that line item.
So if we were to, you mentioned that if we move the ballpark lift station up, that we would keep it there.
So
in some capacity.
So the existing structure will be basically cut off at the ground. it'd be turned into a manhole. So all the sewer would not be pumped from that position no more. We'd install 12-inch or 15-inch gravity line from that location over to Washington Street right away. Okay, and then we'd have a new wastewater pump station facility there. Okay, and we'd take from there, we'd pump parallel our new gravity sewer, go up Mozart, and then go down the streets between Washington to get eventually over to either maybe Washington.
So it'd be sealed,
yeah.
sealed and there'd be no infiltration happening there. With
I know within the new construction, you guys have old sewer lines, that's why that number's so large, it's $10 million.
Yeah. Okay.
And has the Board of Aldermen already approved I guess, number 3, his recommendation?
We haven't really approved anything.
Okay, I'm just
This is
curious.
basically,
I understand it's for the bonding, but I just was wondering if you had already taken the direction that you wanted to go.
I think they're working under that assumption based on, we've been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, I mean, this has been going on for about 2 years and change, maybe 3, 2.5 anyway. So this discussion has been had, multiple times. There's been no decisions made on exactly where or how. This is the recommendation of the engineer, and I think it's the best fit based on the fact that if we left that lift station in its existing area, I mean, you're talking months at a time that lift station's inaccessible by anything other than boat. We've had lift stations multiple times where pumps get clogged up, people flush towels, and you'd be amazed what goes down the toilet. But when those pumps go out, we have to be able to get to them to service them. And with that one being inaccessible so often, I don't think leaving it in the floodplain is a good idea. Not for the differential in cost there, and to make it, basically, this will fix that problem a long way down the road.
And this is a planning document, this isn't set in stone, this is to allow you all to make decisions and best allocate your guys' resources.
Have we taken the best guess situation and has the DNR and say, this is what we're planning? Will you bless it?
So DNR is not in the turn, they're blessing it in terms of does it meet their design standards and their regulations. And they rely on the communities to hire consultants and to develop with the alternatives, which we have done. The city doesn't like the selected alternate, that's fine, it's a leadership decision.
So what you're proposing, 99.9% DNR would be happy with?
Certainly, they reviewed the facility plan in terms of both its financial aspect and the technical aspect of it. So if they had an issue with our plans, they would have certainly let us know during the review period.
That was my intent, we go ahead and move forward and say, whoa, wait a minute, you can't do that.
No, that's the value of having a facility plan, right? Because you get DNR buy-in, you get their comment, and you get opportunity to address their comments prior to spending real dollars on engineering.
Thank you.
okay. Any other questions?
And then before I leave, I gave you a lengthy discussion on the wastewater system. I have not touched your water system. Unfortunately, Mr. McClellan said DNR and actually EPA never let out the throttle. We're up against some significant regulations concerning some emergency contaminants, and the bigger thing is, relative to Hermann, would be the lead in the water lines. Not trying to cause alarm, but the city currently is trying to get their lead service lines inventoried, identified. When they're asking you about inventory identification, what comes next is going to be replacement, which is going to cost capital. Okay, that's on the service lines. The city also has some cast iron lines, which I would hazard to guess are also have lead joints in them, which I would assume would be the next item on their list. So, all that being said, is there's going to be some outstanding water infrastructure investments that are going to be made by the city.
Which is not included in this.
It is
bond
not.
number.
You have separate systems. I'm pleased that they're separate. You have a sewer system that takes care of a sewer, a water system takes care of a water. If in fact, right now, the main issue is sewer. And so if you think, I'd rather just run one question, then you're the boots on the ground. I'd rather just run one question. And identify You're identifying it, we've got the design for it, we can talk to that. Almost all my communities have been notified about their lead and their joints and asked to do an inventory, which is, as he said, just DNR's way of saying, this is what we're gonna
This is
make
the
you do
first
next.
step. Yeah.
Right, so when they start talking about, you need to do this, then we can go to the people with a ballot.
Okay. Any other questions for these gentlemen? Thank you for your time.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
being
it.
here.
Thank you.
Thanks
Do you have
again.
any more?
No, I would just suggest that between now and your next board meeting, you think about an amount to put on the ballot. Because you have what's in front of you, and you can make that decision that night. It can be blank, which it is right now, on your ordinance, and you can decide at that meeting. I'm happy to come to that meeting too, unless I'm at another one, but happy to come to that one. But with 15 million that you know you've identified, I would suggest putting 20 on there.
And Joey, the ballot language you have here, that's pretty much what you would suggest, just fill in the blank.
That's exactly right, yeah.
Do you always include operating and maintenance cost in your bonds?
I do, because it's statutory. What you don't want to have happen is to come in and take some of that money and, right, and have someone say, well, wait a minute, you only had expansion. You only had, so yes, that's why we included.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
And let me know if you need me at the next two.
All right. Moving on, mayor's report, very short as usual. A reminder, May 4th is big trash day for City of Herman. Also a reminder, it's for the residents of the City of Herman. Don't have your friends bring stuff in from out of town. This has been a problem in the past. The other important thing that I feel is important, this coming Saturday from 9 to 11 at the high school. There's going to be a program in regards to Officer Adam Zolentrup. It's going to basically be a program to honor our first responders and to recognize what they have done in the past, especially on that night at Casey's. So if you have the time, I would love to see a full house. It's just a nice community event, and I would like to see support our officer and his family for everything they're going through. Just because we don't talk about him every day. Adam's got a long road ahead of him, and we just don't want to put it on our back burner and forget about the man. I mean, we owe a lot to that family for all the heartbreak and everything they're going through. So if you can spare a couple of hours, starts at 9 o'clock, instead of be done at 11, we'd appreciate everybody that can be there to be there. All right, we will move on to city's administrator report.
Yes, and I would just tack on to your reminder about the Big Trash Day. Just trying to get out in front of it for the fall. We've decided that November 2nd, Big Trash Day, is going to be a drop-off only. And it looks like it will likely be at the Gutenberg parking lot and require proof of residency. That is to curb a lot of the out-of-town abuse, and so the board thought it would be fair to have one curbside and one drop-off, and we're going to give that a trial run.
How are the people who are elderly and cannot get their things down to them?
We had that discussion here among the board, and they took that into consideration, and that's why they wanted to do one curbside. It obviously would cause, we talked about how it's going to cause some inconvenience for people who don't have a truck.
It's been abused.
Curbside's in November too?
Do what?
No, drop
Okay,
off.
We're going to do the normal trash in May, and then what we agreed on was the second trash day that we do in the fall will be, you have to take it to a location. We're trying to curb all the abuse to it, I guess is,
And actually, Tri-County is strongly suggesting that.
So it's a trial thing,
Roger.
One of the things we kind of beat around in the meetings on that, Dolores, was, maybe we can reach out to the Boy Scouts or some churches or some civic organizations that if somebody's elderly or handicapped, we could get something set up to where they can make a call to get that done. I don't think we can actually do it as the city, just for
Liability issues.
right. But that's something that we kind of thrown about in the meetings.
Well, I was just curious because if.
Right, yeah,
you
no,
get
that
phone
was something
calls-
we've all struggled with, that is, you've got a lot of elderly people that they can't, or they don't have trucks, or trailers, that's the other side of it. So, just know that it has been discussed quite a bit, and we're trying to find a solution that's workable.
Sorry.
Oh, no, that's right. I have a brief Port Authority board update. They held their first meeting on April 17th. And Chad Walton, who is our Hermann representative, he reported back to me that it was just an organizational meeting where they elected officers and terms of those officers, and Chad was elected to be the secretary treasurer of that board, which I thought was great. And they drafted their budget at that first meeting and are working on filing some paperwork with the state. So they'll keep us posted on that.
Moving forward.
Yes. The comprehensive plan, MRPC has reached out to us and they set a kickoff meeting with city staff for May 16th here at City Hall at 10 a.m. Dolores will be there, obviously, and so we could have one more of you join us that day if you would like. If you can't do it then, I'm sure there will be a lot more opportunities as this rolls out. I think they have a vision for breaking up in a lot of different committees. And again, it's over the course of 18 months, so we'll find a place for you to get involved for sure. As Travis was telling us when he was here, he was referring to this DNR grant for the lead service line inventory. The update on that is that we did receive 7 bids last week. And we were comfortable with the low bid, was a local company, and it was $463,486. The high bid was over $1 million from an out of state, I think that was from New York or Chicago or something. We sent our recommendation to the state for review, and if it checks all the boxes, then they will send it back for your approval. The tandem dump truck that we ordered 2 years ago now, we just got a call last week that it will be delivered by the end of the month. And so that money had already been earmarked in the budget, and it was split between 5 departments, and it was at a cost of $157,000.
Is that what the actual final invoice is going to come in at?
Yes, yeah. And we had estimated higher, so actually we've got the money. And the budget. I made some good progress on the budget the last couple of weekends, just working on the carryover balances, and I'm on pace to have you your first draft on May 1st.
Yay.
Yay. Thank you.
Public Works Director report, please.
The electric department finished up work on the 200 block of East 12th. All the old poles are abandoned by us now. They'll be removed after communications and transfers are made, so that 200 block is ready for conversion when that day comes. The street department has been removing dead trees along street right-of-ways and for the trim grant project as well. They've been doing mowing and patching as needed. We did the walkthrough for the streets on March 27th. The first project is going to be Schieffer's Branch, and they plan on being here, weather permitting. That's obviously weather affects their schedules pretty heavily, but right now they're looking at May 6th is when they're going to show up. And we're going to try to go in order from Schieffer's Branch to Sand Plant and 9th to Gaethie on the 20th. We told them we'd like them to stay off of Gaethie until the 20th if they can, so school's done. And, or not, Gaethie/13th, the street there. And then after that, Whitman Road will be the final project on this year's street paving. and they're gonna take that as far as the budget money allows. We came in quite a bit under budget this year on our street projects, so we're kind of going off of that premise that we had done the last 3 years, holding back. I think 400,000 was the number we've been trying to get to. We're gonna let them run until they got $400,000 worth of product on the ground, and then we'll cut them off. And then next year, we should be able to go with the full 3 years. We've been saving a third a year. And we'll have a real budget number to start the year, so I'm kind of excited about that. My phone shut off here, stand by. Okay, the water department did a walkthrough of Schiller Street, and they're collecting pricing right now for all the fittings, valves, hydrants for that project. I would anticipate we'll be bringing a bid tab to you guys in the near future on that to get those hydrants and fittings and valves ordered. Gas is pretty much wrapped up that final service on Sand Plant Road. We're kind of waiting to be able to get to their residence right now, where the meter set's gonna go, because there's some scaffolding and brickwork going on right there. Parks Department has been mowing and weed eating, as well as working on the pool, and they hope to fill the pool next week. So that ought to get some kids excited. Any questions?
For the road projects, material-wise, are they on par with a year ago? Material's gone up, down?
Travis, do you remember the specifics on the asphalt?
I don't, it's a younger company, they're aggressive, and the city's some good aggressive pricing.
Okay.
I don't know where the savings came from, if it was equipment, materials, or labor, I couldn't tell you for sure.
Okay.
But I wouldn't think it would be labor, because that's all kind of fixed by the state. So.
Okay.
Very good. Any other questions?
I have a question. Do you know why the electric is reimbursing the wastewater for the 30,000 for the Sand Plant Road?
Yes, because we used that same ditch for our conduits. So we ran 3 utilities in that ditch.
So the wastewater paid for everything?
Wastewater paid for everything up front.
Reimbursing.
Right. Wastewater paid for everything up front, and we did the same thing on the rock.
Well, yeah, that's,
So all of that, we shared that one ditch, Calibite's in there, and then that Calibite reimbursement of, I think it's 26.4 if I remember right, that'll get redistributed to all 3 utilities as well.
and then your Sand Plant Road project, do you have the final cost of that whole?
Of the utilities,
Yeah.
I don't have one done yet, but I'm working on that.
Are you working on
yes.
it?
Yep.
Can you get a copy then?
Oh, absolutely.
Have it done, I appreciate it.
Yep. Sounds good. Anybody else?
Okay, thank you. We have no public comments. Do we have any old business? No old business. Do we have any new business?
I do have one little bit of new business, perhaps. With the proposed reconstruction of the property there at 10th and Jefferson, there is currently only stop sign for 3 ways. There's not one going for westbound up the hill. That maybe perhaps with that, influx of potential new residents, you might want to take a look and see about making that a 4-way stop.
It's winter time, ice, snow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my first thought, okay. But yes, okay. But Jesse, you hear that?
Yep.
Okay. Very good. All right, we will move on to ordinances.
All right, the first for tonight, bill number 2024-25, an ordinance to approve a retainer agreement between the city of Hermann, Missouri and Utility Safety and Design Inc. for gas engineering services.
Okay. Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
Move bill number 2024-25, second read.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next, for first reading, bill number 2024-26, an ordinance to approve and authorize the execution of a quitclaim deed to release the city of Hermann, Missouri's interest in a slope easement in the Bavarian Hills development. And so back when Bavarian Hills was being developed along the street where there are the slopes, the city kept an easement to go in and maintain that and to ensure that we had control, not control necessarily, but the ability to go in and maintain that slope to protect our street. With the proposed development, it's my understanding, we're gonna have foundations of buildings right up to or close to the street and or retaining walls that are gonna deal with that slope. And so it's prudent for the city then to go ahead and release that slope easement agreement. They don't wanna, that slope easement is kind of in the way of those buildings and retaining walls that are being planned.
But this is a quitclaim deed actually giving them the.
Quitclaim deed releasing our
Releasing the-
easement, provided that if the planned development doesn't happen, then the easements revert back to the city and we get them back automatically.
Is there a time frame on that?
There is December 31st, 2024. And we don't have to do anything to have it revert back if in the way it's worded, if in the opinion of the city's engineering firm, the construction is not sufficient to address our slope concerns, then the easement reverts back to the city.
Any other question?
Yep, I do, naturally. On your quitclaim deed information here, you have subdivision plat 4. And it's actually plat 5, but has the city accepted plat 5? 4 is the other 2 lots from close to Highway H. You have lot 1 and Glow subdivision, you have plat 4.
What's the question?
Plat 4 is 2 lots that are not even close to this.
This is dealing, and anybody with more specific
I
knowledge.
can speak to this probably.
There's slopes being vacated up by Highway H
Yeah.
as well as.
I can speak to this.
But you're talking about
I think it's probably Scribner's there.
plat 5.
Plat 4 is up against Highway H, there was a subdivided there. The development firm, the new title will be Plat 5. I don't have that ordinance in front of me.
Plat 5.
We don't have an ordinance.
Plat 5 is on this request here.
The ordinance says that we're accepting plat
And
5.
road in.
I don't see it.
Scratched out 4, scratched out, put 5.
No, that's not the ordinance. The ordinance I thought we had to have an ordinance to accept plat 5.
Well, the slopes that were established, that were vacating, were established 20 years ago.
I know.
Right. So,
But it would have been on plat 3. Originally, it would have been plat 3. It would have been 1 lot, and they want to subdivide plat 3 into 3 lots, which would be plat 5. Not,
so we're releasing the slope easement that we currently have and that was established 20 years ago on Lot 2B of Plat 3. You look at Plat 3 that's recorded at the recorder's office and it shows the slope
Okay.
easement. And then we're also releasing the slope easement that was established on Lot 1 of Plat 4 20 years ago.
That's Dolores' question, I think, is why it's.
But, yeah.
Further.
Why is what?
Plat 4.
plat 4 did not have any slope easements on it. It can't because it's all flat. Why would we have a slope easement on plat 4? Do you have a copy of plat 4?
Doesn't Lot 1 of Plat 4 go all the way up to the top, like west?
This thing has been very convoluted in terms of planning. Plat 4 is 2 lots that are butt up against Highway H, the very northern part of the whole Glow subdivision. I'm sure that's just a Scribner's error in terms of Plat 4 versus a different plat. be happy to review that with you in more detail.
When you enter the,
From Highway H.
from Highway H is here, Dan Hoosier Drive is here, it's the two lots right here, and that's plat 4, just those two. Sorry, and the new one has to be plat 5, so but wouldn't the Board of Aldermen have to approve plat 5 to change the one lot into 3 separate lots?
Yes, and it will.
It will.
But it doesn't have to approve plat 5 before it releases and
Before you
quitclaims
release
its
it.
interest in the slopes that were
Okay.
established in the plats that were recorded in 2004.
Okay, then it needs to be plat 3 then.
So lot B of plat 3 and lot 1 of plat 3?
Lot 1 would have to be, I'm not sure where lot 2B is.
Lot 2B is it's a large lot that is irregularly shaped, that basically borders around the development. And I believe that's the current lot that is going to be developed on. I'd have to look at the plats. Apologize, I didn't prepare for this.
Well, we can go back and look at plats and make sure we got the right numbers there. So I don't think they're not gonna start digging into the slopes tomorrow, right?
Where are you? I will have to now.
I don't want to hold anything up, but I
No,
just,
Elliot Reed with Cochran Engineering, 538 East Independence Drive in Union. I don't have the old plats with me, or else I would have hopped up and told you 3, 4, 5. We're on 5 now, the new one, brand new, as tonight. And then if I understand correctly, 4 was the couple lots that you described. It probably should be 3. I do know that on our current one, it says the slope easement is per book 5, page 13, slide 253. So I don't know if that helps on the legal description. But I'll have to dive into what plat is supposed to be 3 or 4.
That's fine with me.
As it's written right now, it says,
As it's written right now, it says, we are vacating the slopes which are located on lot 2B of plat 3 and lot 1 of plat 4.
and I don't have a copy of the attached here of Exhibit A. I don't have it, so
And I guess if you accept plat 5 tonight, does plat 5 show the entire slope? Probably not, because we're anticipating.
No,
It's still shown on there.
It shows.
Okay. So after tonight, if you accept and approve plat 5 and it's recorded in the next 2 weeks, we can just change that to say, the below,
why?
we can refer to plat 5 once plat 5.
yeah, you would be releasing it all on lot 1 of plat 5. Because lot 1 goes all along Grand Hills to Danube Drive, the one that goes to Tractor Supply.
So our operations thing, the intention was to provide the city with recourse to retake that slope easement back should the development stall or fail.
So the cleanest may be just to go ahead and table this for tonight, and then later we've got the ordinance to approve plat 5. And then come back at the next meeting and do our quitclaim deed releasing the slope easements.
Well, you can do it the same night, can't you?
Maybe
not.
Plat 5 approval
You
on
probably have
tonight's
to
agenda.
approve it, yeah, you have to have it approved, it has to be signed, okay.
Dave, I thought plat 5 was in this. I thought that was what we agreed on. That's why it's attached to this ordinance.
Not in your ordinance.
Well, the ordinance refers to those old ones. So exhibits A and B to this ordinance should have been plats 3 and 4 to match what's the language that's on the ordinance.
That's not what came through in the email, at least not how I interpreted it, so I apologize, I included plat 5 on this.
Well, so next meeting it'll be correct.
So you're talking, we're gonna table this for 2 weeks? That, I'm sure they wanna move along on their project. We can't just alter this where you can, I don't wanna break no rules, but trying
Well, we
to
can
facilitate
go to,
moving forward with the project.
Dave, where the plats are only in motion, right? I think those have been in motion in the past, if I remember correctly.
No, you have to have an ordinance to change the plat because it requires a signature of the mayor and a copy of the ordinance and everything else to go with to the county.
I saw it on the first time. I, it was on the draft, but after some email correspondence, I understood it to be compartmentalized into this ordinance, so that's why I attached it here. It's not in the motion. Because I originally had it under motion.
Can I ask a quick question? Dolores, I was under the understanding from the PNC meeting that to approve the subdividing of the variant that we were to appear tonight. Is that not correct?
It's not, it wasn't on the agenda, Susan, so I'm
Okay.
a little.
We were told
confused.
tonight though,
Yeah.
and that's why we have Cochran here and we're here.
I mean, that was the intention, yeah.
Okay.
That was my intention,
Not
absolutely.
Not the slope issue that you're dealing with right now, but to approve the subdividing that was discussed, that
Right.
was approved at PNC, and we were told tonight that.
And it's
was-
my understanding you have to have an ordinance in order to approve the new plat.
Okay. So is there something else
That's my
that we should have
understanding, and
done?
Dave can change it.
No, there's nothing that you did wrong or should have done.
Okay, so is it another meeting?
I'm glad Elliot is here to be here for part of this exhibit Plat 5 discussion, so it wasn't a waste of time.
For sure.
But no, you didn't do anything wrong, or
Okay. So do we come back next meeting?
if you want to. The recommendation of planning and zoning was that the Board of Aldermen approve the plat of the re-subdivision, and so that's what I expected it to do.
Okay, but we just don't know when.
It should be in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna get the
That was my
proper.
misunderstanding, because I thought we were told that it was tonight, so that's why
It was
So we're
supposed
waiting
to,
for
it was
it.
supposed to be tonight.
Okay,
And it wasn't properly listed on the agenda.
okay,
To
I got it.
have an ordinance read.
Okay,
However, since we have the slope easement, we'll work that out so we can get both these knocked off in 2 weeks. Correct. Is that what I understand?
perfect, thank you.
And it's my understanding you're not digging into the slope in the next 2 weeks, or
No.
were you going to?
Nope,
Are
not
we
in the next
holding-
2 weeks, no. we
Per,
don't.
per mayor's comment, are we holding anything up?
No. Nope.
I just trying to make everybody happy.
We have a 2-week buffer.
Steve's got a shovel and he's ready to start.
Okay, good deal.
Okay, I know what we need to do.
All right, so we're gonna table this one, right?
Yes.
All right. So tabling that ordinance, we'll move on to
The next one,
next
right?
one. Yes, sir.
Is bill number 2024-27, an ordinance to approve an agreement between the City of Hermann, Missouri and Utility Safety and Design Inc. for natural gas pipeline engineering services.
Yeah,
Any
so,
discussion?
I have, a whole lot more about it on the back row, but this is, so we approved that retainer agreement with USDI, second reading just now, so that is the agreement that allows us to have their reduced engineering rate. That agreement now is there are gas engineers, so this is just an ordinance for this contract with them to engineer that project.
And you're talking about the Luder Cemetery
The
project.
Luder Cemetery.
Correct.
Any discussion? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve it.
Motion's made, do I have a second? Second. Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Okay. Moving on to motions. We have a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Move to approve the minutes.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Invoices for payment, do I have a motion to pay the bill?
I move we pay the bills.
Motion has been made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Approve the termination of the Hermann Fire Department and the Hermann Area Ambulance District dispatching services contracts. They are now going to be dispatched by 911. I have a motion to approve.
Did we have an ordinance for their original contracts with the city? Or was it just in the motion? Original,
I mean, back from 2005?
whenever it was, yeah.
I'm not certain.
I'm just curious, I was wondering if it was covered in ordinance originally.
What letter are we on?
C.
Looking at other stuff.
She just wondered if we needed to do an ordinance, but you thought a motion would be satisfactory.
Correct. We can do it by motion.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Approve the low bid from Play Design Scapes for $16,500 for 3 water fountains with water bottle fillers and pet stations. Do I have a motion? That was in their budget, right? Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Approves the low bid from Gray Bar for $9,426.62 for hardware and conductor wire for the electrical department. I have a motion to approve that.
I move to approve it.
Motion's made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Approved pool fee schedule and Hermann Fitness Source Aquatics proposal. A motion to approve that.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Hire lifeguards for the 2024 pool season. Have a motion to approve that.
I'll move to approve the lifeguards.
Motion has been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Will this be, do they need any more lifeguards, or will this be?
We'll need more. If you guys can get some applicants in for us, we could use a few more.
So you watching on TV, we need more lifeguards. If you know anybody that would like to apply, please do. Item H, conditional use permit renewal, Roost Caboose Saloon, Beth Osler, outdoor liquor consumption at 113 West 5th Street. And that's contingent on,
Yeah, that's contingent on the certificate of no tax due, which they told me there wasn't.
okay. So do I have a motion to approve contingent with her getting her no tax due?
Chief, everything good with?
Parking, is parking a problem in that area?
No.
Okay.
No problem.
I'll move to approve.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Reappoint Patricia Haney and Jesse Geltz to the Municipal Gas Commission of East Central Missouri. This is, I believe, a 3-year term, correct? Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Motion made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Reappoint Danny Baumstark and Mark Baumer to the Utility Advisory Board. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion is made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Reappoint Kenny Briscoe, Wendy Nelke, and Lindsay Engelman to the Park Board. Have a motion to approve that.
I will move to approve.
All All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll second it.
Somebody needs a second, but.
Did I forget that?
Okay.
Yeah, Dolores got it though.
Hey, I'm not used to being here this late.
Dolores got it.
Excuse me. She second, all in favor? Okay. We're doing so well. Picnic liquor license, Hermann J.C.'s My Fest Beer Garden, Sesquicentennial Park, May 17th and 18th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So move.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Picnic liquor license for Hermann J.C.'s Oktoberfest Beer Garden, Sesquicentennial Park, October 4th, 5th, 12th, 19th, and 26th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve that one?
Move to approve.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? So, Caterers permit, Lionheart Whiskey's My Fest, May 18th, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Mayor, this one I'd also say if you approve it, it would have to be contingent on a tax and a business license issue he's working out this week.
Okay, contingent on their tax and business license. Now do I have a motion?
Motion to approve on contingency of satisfying needed reports.
Okay, motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Special event application, Boy Scout Troop 116-3116, MR 340 Relay Concession, First Aid, Riverfront Park, July 24th, 26th through the 26th on 2024. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Special event application, Hermann Area Chamber of Commerce Freedom Fest 2024 with a parade, fireworks vendors on July 5th at Riverfront Park and concert and children's activity at the amphitheater on July 6th with requested closure of 5th Street along amphitheater fence on July 6th, 2024. Have a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Motion is made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Special event application for Alpine Shop LTD Tour of Hermann Gravel Challenge Bike Race with requested police escort from City Park to Missouri River Bridge, Katy Trail on 5-4 and 5-5 City Park and various city streets, May 3 through 5th, 2024. I have a question. What do they mean by police escort?
Marlon, do you normally escort them out of town?
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, just a big string of bicycles
We
for
get them across the
safety.
river and help them get on Katy Trail safely so we don't get hit.
Oh, just a one-time deal that you gotta lead them up? Okay, just one clarification. All right.
I hope they're not down to one lane on the Missouri River Bridge.
It's progress.
Saturday, Sunday.
All right, do I have a motion to approve?
I so move.
Motion made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Special event application, City of Hermann Tourism Department, Missouri River Runner Destination Showcase, Amtrak Station, May 13, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve that one?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. We have no reports. We need
Can I ask Trish to do something for us? Can you provide a balance sheet, when you provide the financial statement, can you give us a balance sheet at the first part of every month?
You didn't have one in there?
A balance sheet? No,
Balance sheet?
I never get a balance sheet.
Yeah.
So if you could give all of us a balance sheet with the income statement, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. I need a motion to go into closed session. Oh, well,
Am I supposed to do that?
yeah. If you're in that suit,
I gotta
you
read
gotta
that.
read that.
Okay. I move that we go to closed session for the purpose of dealing with matters related to hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting employees pursuant to section 61021-3 and discussion related to negotiations for a contract pursuant to section 61021-12 revised statutes of Missouri.
Okay, motion, I need a second,
Second.
and then I need a vote.
Or roll call?
Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
I,
We are now in closed session. Thank you, everyone, for being here and those watching on TV.
We have a 5-minute break.
We're gonna have a 5-minute break.
Here you go. Wake it up. Whoa.